deep-sea diver Sandy, who can operate machinery at the bottom of the ocean, but is not allowed to drive a car on our roads. It's because of her medicine. It's legal and prescribed, but that hasn't stopped the courts taking away her licence.
Sandy, we're in your car, yet I'm behind the wheel. Why?
Because I'm not allowed to be for the next 6 months.
Sandy's TLC for her car comes after being busted for having THC in her system while driving, the main psychoactive component of cannabis.
He first breathalyzed me, alcohol test, came up 0, and then he did a drug test, and I told him before he even brought it back to the car what it was going to be positive for and why.
Sandy was charged with drug driving late last year. The former commercial deep diver planned to fight the charge, but before Sandy could argue her case in court, she was busted a second time. For the first offence, Sandy was convicted, fined and suspended from driving. She plans to fight the second charge too.
Someone has to stand up and stop being bullied into pleading guilty.
Sandy is one of more than 700,000 Australians using cannabis for medical reasons.
I certainly would not have convicted her.
Former New South Wales magistrate David Halpern turned his back on the profession because our drug driving laws needed a reality checkpoint.
I found myself driving home after court with a really bad taste in my mouth, thinking, I just can't keep doing this. I can't apply a law that is so unfair, that has such a drastic influence, negative influence on people's lives when they lose their licence.
At Lismore Courthouse behind me, there's 46 drug driving cases being heard here today alone. A Current Affairs saw the impact the laws were having on drivers in Halpern's backyard in 2016, when the local magistrate chucked it in.
It's destroying people. Like, it's pretty much destroyed me.
It's a horse test. The test just shows whether or not it's in your system.
All this saw Professor Halpern change direction. The Dean of Law at Southern Cross University is a vocal advocate for overhauling our drug driving laws.
If you go to the doctor and you get a prescription and you drive, then you are committing an offence in every state of Australia. In Tasmania, there is a defence, which is if you've been prescribed and you're not driving under the influence, so you're not weaving all over the road, and you're only using the cannabis you've been prescribed, then there's a defence available, but nowhere else in Australia.
Please wipe this down your tongue.
New South Wales Police conduct more than 250,000 roadside drug tests each year. That's more than anywhere else in the world.
There's certainly no proof in the pudding that people who are using cannabis medicinally and in accordance with their prescription raise the road toll at all. We're in an evidence-free zone, but we know this. Public policy should not be determined by police desire to do 250,000 drug driving tests. And apart from anything else, it takes police away from policing things that I think every member of the community would be way more concerned about: domestic violence, child sexual abuse.
And at the moment, the legislation says that if you have THC in your system, you are inadequate to handle that motor vehicle safely. And that's what the community policing is about.
Alex Karuna is the president of the Australian Federal Police Association. If you're over 18, you can legally possess certain amounts of cannabis in the ACT, but the capital has a zero-tolerance approach to driving high.
I'm not hearing members telling me that they're unhappy with the shift because it had X amount of people that were medicinal cannabis users. They would like to be able to have technology out there that was to be able to tell the difference between medical cannabis or recreational cannabis. And unfortunately, that technology doesn't exist at the moment.
Medical cannabis users feel they've been driven into a catch-22 cul-de-sac.
Do they keep using the medication that works and risk losing their licence and a greater time off the road? Or do they stop using the medication that works and go back to a more harmful, more side effect and more dangerous drug like an opioid?
Sandy's second offence in 5 years means there's no leniency available to the court.
I could stay in bed all day on court day and still end up in the same position as if I rock up in my best clothes and fight my best fight. Like, It's sewn up.
That's not the case with, say, assault. It's not the case with stealing, but it is the case with drug driving, that if you've got 2 offences within 5 years, the second time, then it's throw your licence in the bin on the way out of the court, because you're going to be off the road for a substantial period of time.
Professor Halpern's calling for the Tasmanian legislation, which provides leniency for medical cannabis drivers, to be adopted throughout Australia.
My prediction is that would see a big reduction in the road toll, because the police would stop this unproven, unevaluated method of assessment and start policing things that we know are going to have an impact on the road toll. So that's what needs to happen, and it needs to happen quickly.